So I've done it again. 1 year in every 10. Just joking. That's the intro to a Sylvia Plath poem. Anyways, but I have done it again in that I've screwed up my meds. I don't know how it's possible. Actually, I don't think I ever recorded the video when I did it last time. For an entire week, I was taking the complete wrong prescription. I take Effexor. I had an old prescription of Prozac in my drawers because I went through a whole schwack of meds before I landed on Effexor. For an entire week, I didn't notice that I was taking the wrong pills. And oh my god, it's like, Allah! Afterwards I realized why I was so all over the place. So I did it again. Well, not quite that, but I forgot to take my meds last night. And at work today, I just noticed in the morning, I just felt bitchy. It's like I didn't feel like there was anything really wrong with me, but I just wanted to friggin' snap at people. And then my tummy started hurting, and even last night, like I did go for a run and I had a cup of coffee, which is why I thought I couldn't sleep. I had maybe 4 hours of sleep. But then, you know, all these things were happening at work, and I finally was like, oh my god, I didn't take my meds. And because I take Effexor and it has such a short half-life, I think it's like 11 hours, that's why I was having symptoms right away. So yeah, for me, I can tell right away. So I took it tonight, and then it's like you're half going through like withdrawal, and then you're half getting the side effects, and I was all over the place. I actually puked. And yeah, it's good times, good times. So anyways, aside from the update of my physical health. Oh, I got my piercing. See that? Looks a bit puffy right now. It is a bit puffy right now. It's a bit irritated, actually. So you call this a Monroe piercing, after Marilyn Monroe, for her mole, of course. Anyways, yeah, it kind of hurt. But I love it. I love it. I'm not much of a tattoo person, but I do like to kind of change my look, and piercings are great. They change your look, and you can take it out, and you never knew it was there, which for me suits me perfectly. So yeah. I do have a few issues going on in my life, as is the current theme. But I shouldn't talk about people on here, right? Especially if they could be watching. Yeah, being assertive is very difficult for me when I am afraid that the relationship is tentative, especially, or when I'm just kind of getting to know somebody. Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard for me to do. So that is my current challenge. What else can I talk about? I have stuff to talk about, and now my mind has gone blank. Oh, the previous video was another practice for my drama class tomorrow night, so that's the monologue that I have. So that's what that is, and I have a new boss at work, and so there's some, even though she was a team leader there, always, but now she's my boss, so she's moved departments, and I gotta say, for the most part, like in comparison to other new situations, my anxiety is quite low around her, but it's not zero, and I do judge that, and I have a hard time with that. You know, there will be times when she comes over and we're chatting, and I'll be going into my head and not, you know, I'll kind of go in and out of the conversation. I mean, in terms of like being present. And like that's, you know, just the way it goes for me and for, I think, people with anxiety. So there's that. And yeah, and we have another new teammate, and it's kind of the same thing with him, but maybe a little more comfortable because he's on my level. And yeah, I do have a thing with authority. I think a lot of people do, like, even like anxiety aside, but it adds another layer to anxiety too, because I feel like I should be like the perfect worker, or I feel that tendency to be obedient or perfect, or like whatever you want to call it, instead of just relaxed and accepting of myself. So there's that. I should say that more often. So there's that. God, it's like 1 a.m. right now, and I have to be up at like 6:30, and because my meds are all wacky, I'm just wondering, am I gonna sleep? This is what I have to take every time I eat or drink something. It's it's $15 mouthwash, antibacterial. Yeah, for 6 weeks. And no oral sex. Because, you know, that's likely to happen. I'm just joking around. It could happen, of course. It's always readily available men in the world. Isn't that? Anyways, what else? I hope my therapist is back, you know, sometime in the near century. I think that actually longer wait times in between are good for me, because that's when I do my real processing and figuring things out. I was going once a week before, but I think that's almost too much for me, because then I just get into like over-analyzing zone. I think I've realized that what works best for me is somewhere in between a week and 2 weeks. Sorry. But now it's going to be like 3 weeks. You know, who knows? I don't know when he's back. I forgot he was on vacation, to be honest. I've seen Janie and Ben do this, like, video thing where you have, like, the little screen down here of one person and then the other person. I find that very interesting. I find it very interesting that I cannot separate myself from an experience. Like, I'm watching, and I'm sometimes relating with Jane, like I so see it from her perspective, and then sometimes I can see it from, like, because it's not me, from an outside observer's view, or Ben's view, or whatever. It's just very interesting. And I find it interesting when I go back and watch again and notice that I see things totally different. Because, you know, you always think you're right. You do. You always think you're right, you know, when you think something or whatever. And then I think these are the moments when we learn. So you're like, oh, I see it differently now. Anyways, that's just yammer. I think I'm like high on Effexor right now from my recent dose. Anyways, I'm getting close to 10 minutes. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Anyways, just yammering. Yes, I like my hair now. And I like my piercing. And I have put back on like 8 pounds from the 20 that I lost. Isn't that crazy? So I'm trying to, you know, shed at least 5. It's a girl thing, okay? I don't want 100 comments about that, alright? Alright, everybody, have a good night. Have a good week. We'll see you later.